So the Oscars came up with a rule, I think back in 2022, for eligibility to win Best Picture, okay? Specifically for Best Picture.
Okay.
They have not implemented those rules until this next year in March of 2024, okay? We're going to look at these rules and heads up, this is everything to do with diversity, racial equality, and equity, okay?
Okay.
Equity.
So you basically, and the reason I'm bringing this up, I guess to say it right off the bat, Oppenheimer will not be able to win Best Picture or
Will
even
not
be able
qualify.
will not qualify. A masterfully made movie like Oppenheimer
Mhm.
will not qualify because it's too whitewashed. All right? Even though there's Jewish people in there, Jewish people don't count.
Painting the fence.
Yeah, and whitewashing the fence.
I got you.
Whitewashing the fence. Okay, so
It's like,
I got it.
Yeah, I got it, but it wasn't a great joke.
the Academy Town Hall clarifies new Oscar inclusion standards initiatives for members. We're going to look at each one of these. So basically the rules, from what I understand, is the initiatives originally unveiled in September 2022 is going into effect with the upcoming 96 Oscars in March of 2024. In order for the films to now qualify for Best Picture, they will need to meet 2 of the 4 new standards set forth by the Academy.
Okay.
Apparently, like 80% of the people in the Academy voted yes for these to be the facts. All right.
Okay.
How about speed reading? Can you read this, Wyatt?
Let me. I don't usually keep it on full screen.
I'm gonna try to zoom in a touch.
Standard A centers on on-screen representation and can be achieved in 3 ways: either by at least one of the lead actors, significant supporting actors, racial or ethnic group. 2, at least 30% of all actors in secondary or minor roles are from at least 2 underrepresented groups. 3, the main storylines, themes, or narratives of the film are centered on underrepresented groups.
All right, so the 2 big things I have. So this is for on-screen representation, okay? And this is also dealing with this term underrepresented groups. How is that defined in today's world?
The minority.
Minorities.
Because everybody's represented now, and they have been for 20 to 30 years.
Longer
Everybody.
than that.
In fact, probably the 60s is when they started being represented. So everybody's represented. So which group?
Oh, you got the Donald Trump hands up?
Which group?
Everybody's been represented. Everybody's here now.
Since the 60s.
Everybody's saying the same thing.
Which group is considered unrepresented in Hollywood today? Okay.
I mean,
because they're all represented. So how is this defined? That is the big question.
Joe whips out the Donald Trump hands.
Look, how are we defining this? How should we define this? Okay.
You know,
are we talking black, gay? Is it them too?
Yes. No.
Are women
Latin
considered
Americans,
unrepresented?
Asian Americans, women? Yes, all of these.
All the above, except the ones that look like us 3.
Yes.
Wait. Well, not Wyatt. He's
ambiguous.
I haven't seen a lot of movies
ambiguous.
about Spanish people recently.
Blue Beetle just came out.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it didn't do very well.
I didn't watch it, but yes, you're right. Okay, your people have been represented.
Well, I here's the thing. It's arbitrary.
Right.
It's arbitrary, and it is stuff like this is going to kill the award shows.
I think there's argument that they've already killed him, but this is definitely
no.
the dirt on top of the
views. The views of each of the like the Oscars has gone down significantly. And it gets less and less every year.
Okay, let's go ahead to standard B. All right.
Revolves around creative leadership, and project behind each film can also be achieved in 3 ways. At least 2 of the following leadership positions and department heads, casting directors, cinematography, blah, 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 from underrepresented groups. So what this is saying
At least
is that
30% of the film's crew from represented
yes.
groups.
So
30%.
what this
This
is
is
saying,
this is egregious.
this is so if you pair this standard B with standard A, um, they're saying that the entire creation of the movie on screen, we're talking about stories, all characters, all narratives
Mhm.
have to be about uh, or involving underrepresented groups.
So
And everybody behind the scenes has to all be about underrepresented groups. So we are no longer making movies because people want to watch movies. This is about this is politics now.
yeah,
And
I got a
100%.
legitimate question about so who's defining these underrepresented groups, and if that's the case, if we just have to have a lot of diversity, if that's what
mhm.
they're saying,
Yeah,
then
basically, but they're making it down to a math equation,
okay,
30%. You
so
know what I'm saying?
like someone like Jordan Peele, I love his movies. I'm not dissing on his movies, but like he has come out and said the movies he tells, not as a racist thing, not as anything. He just primarily always puts a lot of black actors in his films. So
Well,
if
yeah,
he's got a
he wants
crew,
to see movies made by black people starring black people, and there's nothing
Nothing
so
wrong
wrong
with
his
that.
with
movies
that.
are
That's
not
a good
exclusive,
goal,
or his movies
but
are exclusive. I mean,
What his movies are, they're not
they're not
exclusive, but
diverse.
they're it could be argued if it was reversed, it would be racist.
well,
Definitely.
no, yeah, and um, but his movies will qualify for all of this.
100%.
Even though it's technically just the same as a white director who casts white people.
But if you were to say, I want to make white movies, then you're racist,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. The other way it's racist. Now, I want to bring up two
It
things
seems
in
like
this. Um, at least 30%. This is
Mhm.
egregious because this is you guys know the difference between like these terms like equality and equity, you know?
Mhm.
Equality is good. Equality basically means there's no barriers to people who are
Yeah, for
qualified
anybody.
for
Yeah.
anybody.
As long as you're
Equity,
qualified, you get in there.
yes, equity is the initiative to make sure that certain people of certain demographics or certain identities
Mhm.
are elevated to positions. So this, when you say at least 30% of the film crew's underrepresented groups, that's fine if that's the case. If it just happens because they're qualified. They are not saying they have to be qualified.
Yeah.
They are
No,
saying
all of this is
they have to
equity.
have this. It's all equity, and equity is racist,
Mhm.
100%. Now, the other
It's
thing I
racist,
was
it's sexist, and it's homophobic.
it's definitely. You want to know the number one people group that are affected by these equity initiatives? Asians.
Mhm.
100%. Asians are the biggest ones affected by this. Now, the other issue I had is this idea of defining who all needs to be represented. I'm sorry, casting directors, whatever. They are men, women, black, white, it doesn't matter. Cinematographers, no offense, to get the best cinematographer out there, most likely is going to be a white guy. It's just a fact right now because the top cinematographers, composers. If you want the best composer, it's going to be a white guy. It's going to be Hans Zimmer. You know,
Yeah. If you
if you want the best costume
what
designer,
you're
that's going
not
to be a woman. You
so
know,
just for clarity's sake, he's not saying that the best composer or cinematographer has to be white because they are
I'm
inherently
saying
the
it
best.
is
He's
a
saying
fact.
right now the best cinematographers and composers in the business are white men at
But
the
check
moment.
this out: hairstylist, probably a woman, right?
Probably.
Makeup
Well,
artist,
I don't know.
probably a woman.
I don't know. There's lots of men
The
in hairstylists and makeup.
Look, the biggest thing here is to basically say if I want to qualify for best picture, I don't get a chance to pursue the best of what I
Yeah,
think.
I
I
can't
have to
go get.
pursue
Yeah,
demographics.
exactly. You
That's the
can't get. It's
biggest
like here's
problem.
my crew. They're the best crew around, and these are all the people I'm hiring. Here's everybody in the film crew. And then the Oscars looks at it and they're like, well, you didn't meet our equity requirements. So
Exactly.
you're not gonna win Best Picture. And
Imagine if
if
I
that's
couldn't pursue Greg Fraser to film my film because he's a white guy.
yeah. And then
That would be
if
nuts.
that's the case, um, all of these are going to be these rules are going to be implemented in all of the things. It's like, oh, you want to win best, music, best sound, best,
Exactly.
international picture, whatever. They're all going to be implemented. So
And
what are the
it's so wrong that uh it's not based on people's ability and qualifications. It's based on ticking a box.
So this one is standard C centers on industry access and opportunities and can be achieved via number one, the film's distribution or financing company has paid apprenticeships or internships that include underrepresented groups, or the film's production, distribution, and or financing company offers training and work opportunities for below the line skill development to people from underrepresented groups. Here's the thing about this point. It
Mhm.
is not bad. This is not a hold on. This is not a bad initiative. Uh,
I love
Directors
how you
can't
cut
choose this
yourself
though.
off. Hold on. Hold
well,
on.
I saw Joe. Joe was working up to something. Um, yeah, this is all good stuff. Providing internships and apprenticeships to anybody is that's all great stuff, and is there's nothing wrong with it. The
There is
issue
stuff
is
wrong with it
hold
because
on,
that
I'm
means
not
okay, go
I'm
ahead.
almost done. I'm almost done. The issue is when you make it a rule of requirement that this is part of the what allows a movie to get made is, do you provide internships, do you provide apprenticeships for underrepresented groups? If not, sorry, you don't win best film if you don't
Exactly.
provide these things.
Two
It's
biggest issues.
as a barrier of entry.
Yes, two biggest issues I have with this. Number one is the creatives that want to win Best Picture, the director, the producers, cannot control this.
Mm-mm.
This is a part of the industry. This is a part of Universal, Warner Brothers, Disney. Do they have this?
Yeah.
Do they
Dude,
have this?
imagine being a
I can't
producer.
control if they do or not.
Imagine being a producer and going around to like the studio, just making sure. Do we have enough? Are we including everybody? With the apprenticeships, the internships? Or
It's like there's too many white people in
is
this internship.
is
Are there
everybody?
black people supposed to be
Yeah.
here?
So now you have to go through film and crew, you have to go through story, and you have to go
You
through
have
the
to make
bottom
sure
rungs of the ladder. You have to make sure.
that you're working for a company that whoever you sold the story to has internships for underrepresented
Now, here
groups.
we go. Standard D says centers on audience development and can be achieved if the studios and or film company has multiple in-house senior executives from underrepresented groups, including individuals from underrepresented racial or ethnic, blah 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 blah.
This is a typo.
I want to point out another thing you can't control: are your executives and marketing and publicity and distribution teams full of underrepresented groups? Also something a director can't control.
Cannot. The
No.
only thing you can control is I will not work with them. But then going back to the other point, if you want to work with more smaller indie companies, they don't have resources to
Mhm.
provide these things for underrepresented groups.
Yeah.
So now you're saying I will not work with people, I will not work so that I can get Best Picture at the
Yeah.
Oscars. I will not work with these certain companies because they do not provide that.
I was
Whether they're too big because they don't want to, or because they're too small, they don't have resources to do it.
I was actually expecting it says centers on audience development. It's like, if your audience
Isn't on
isn't at
80%
least
white viewing.
40% from underrepresented groups, it's like
They just liked my film.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Look,
These are ridiculous. Um
They're not just
And
ridiculous, these are immoral. These are racist.
yeah, you're right.
These are this is this is not just like an annoyance barrier for people at the Oscars. This is immoral because this is not helping the industry. This is not helping creative minds. This is not creating equality for all.
So
This is literally a racist
this is in play
rule
now,
book.
right? For
This is
this year.
the first time these rules are implemented
So
into who's going to win Best Picture is
based
this
on
next
these,
Oscar.
because as long as 2 of these are fulfilled, you can win Best Picture.
Yes.
Who's winning Best Film?
Apparently, everybody's
I don't
talking
know.
about because of this, Oppenheimer doesn't qualify, so it's definitely
we
not
know that.
Oppenheimer.
I
The
bet
thing
you
is,
$1
it's hard
million
to know.
Barbie qualifies for all of this.
Oh
I
yeah, I
would
think
be
it
willing
does.
to say the same thing. It
Barbie,
probably definitely qualifies.
probably Blue Beetle.
That's a really good point. This is another area for Hollywood to essentially tell everybody what is the best movie
Best
and
movie.
not actually it being a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they fell into the rules, so they qualify. Now all these BS movies qualify. So
Yeah.
that's the pool you have to pick from to win Best Picture. You know what? Let this happen because the industry is so non-self-aware that the indie market's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I mean, people like we mentioned this, I think last week or this week on the live or something, that Johnny Depp's literally going and working for indie French companies on
Yeah.
his movies because the American Hollywood doesn't want him. He's
Mhm.
still a huge movie star and people will watch him on screen. They're just digging themselves into a deep hole, and all that's going to be left at the bottom of that is Greta Gerwig and Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. You know what I say to that? Let them eat cake.
I mean, honestly, they're gonna destroy themselves. Yeah, they're gonna destroy themselves.
If you can't
They're
literally
already doing it.
if you are stiff arming movies like Oppenheimer to not
Yeah.
win Best Picture, like not giving them the chance to potentially win Best Picture.
No Oppenheimers.
Nice.